Today, we make our way to Gaithersburg, Maryland, and find our way to a mall that seems to be on the decline. Despite its relatively high occupancy, I personally believe this mall may be living on borrowed time. This is Lakeforest Mall, aka the Tawdry Taubman. To accommodate surrounding suburbs, Taubman Centers purchased land in the mid-70s and would begin construction on the Lakeforest Mall in the late 70s. In 1978, Lakeforest would open its doors for the first time with the original anchors Sears, JCPenney, Hecht's, Woodward, and Lothrop. As a Taubman original, Lakeforest hosts a number of architectural designs that remain original to this day. However, as we'll see later, the Taubman architecture has been bastardized, specifically in the center court. The mall was meant to be a grand destination, boasting a massive conversation pit and stage that resembled an amphitheater. It was also one of the first malls to boast an indoor ice skating rink, which has since been replaced by a food court area inside the mall. As for the conversation pit and stage, we'll come back to that later. Around 1995, Woodward and Lothrop would close down, but would quickly be replaced by Lord & Taylor. As for Hecht's, well, I don't need to remind you what's happened to them by now. Macy's continues operations to this day. As the 2000s came around, Taubman Centers would sell the property off to the Mills Corporation amid internal disputes among Taubman Centers. The Mills Corporation would quickly be acquired by Simon, and Simon would continue operations for the time being. Simon would default on their loan in 2011 and would walk away from the property, putting it up for sale. Around 2013, 5 Mile Capital Partners would purchase the mall and would begin mapping out a long-term plan for the mall. Unfortunately, one of the plans that went through involved tiling over the conversation pit and fountain, as well as relocating the children's play area. As we overlook the center court, you can see plenty of empty space where some stunning features were supposed to be. Bastards. In 2017, assessments for the mall began to fall, and 5 Mile Capital Partners went into foreclosure, auctions going up shortly after. The property would then go to the U.S. Bank. Around this time, the mall would slowly become home to shady characters and an alternative customer base. The mall would even see isolated incidents of crime spark up. In 2019, just a month or so after I visited the mall, JCPenney announced that they would be vacating Lakeforest Mall, as one of the 20 or 30 stores is slated to close under the company. This would be a serious blow to Lakeforest, but could also spark opportunities to bring in new tenants and a fresher image for the mall. Whether or not any new developments will happen remains to be seen at this time. I am annoyed that they got rid of the stage and conversation pit. That had a really nice fountain. But I suppose it isn't a total loss, as the larger part of the mall's image is still intact. You still get abstract statues as well as the smaller conversation pits, and the mall entrances are original from what I can tell. With 4 mall entrances, you are greeted with different neon motifs at each one. Example, we came in via the entrance that had the sun. Another entrance bears a red leaf, and a third bears a snowflake. The weird thing about this mall is that, while yes, you have the likes of Lord & Taylor, H&M, Aeropostale, and the Children's Place, you have weird off-brand stores like It's All Leggings, Goscini, French Perfumes, Vibes, and Himalayan gift shop. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure some of those stores have decent merchandise, but it's just weird seeing all those off-brands and big names coexisting together. Oh, Sears, how is it you still hang around? It's recently come to my attention that Sears is beginning to quietly close stores, so now, even if they do make it to 2020, I have no idea which ones will still be around. So this mall's first major blow comes in the form of JCPenney closing shop first. This could very well be the beginning of the end, unless management is willing to take the initiative in keeping this mall afloat. And given that last I checked, this mall is still under ownership by the bank, I doubt the bank will do much, if anything, so we can really only hold our breath and wait. Now, there is a story to tell with this mall, and I've got a bit of a bad story that begins at this mall. It starts with Sal's encounter with one of the shady types at this mall, where in exchange for information about the mall, the guy is mooching for food off of Sal. Sal decides to oblige and gets the guy a pretzel from Auntie Annie's, and the guy promptly takes it to the trash can, wanting a steak dinner off-site instead. Sal refuses, and after some back and forth, the guy bails. If you want to hear the nitty-gritty, you can hear Sal's story in great detail on his video of this place, which is a very good piece, by the way. He doesn't pay me to say that. I bring this up because I am under the belief that guy throwing the pretzel away was more of a warning than an act of ungratefulness. Because I went to that Auntie Annie's after wrapping up filming and pictures. I sat down with a pepperoni pretzel and a soda. I am not sure what it was, but about an hour after leaving, I came down with a god-awful headache, and at one point in the night, it got so bad that I had to pull over as the urge to puke came and went, with nothing more than spit coming out. I apologize for putting that image in your head, but I am under the suspicion that the Auntie Annie's here is not to be trusted. Sorry guys, but don't eat it. Don't go to that Auntie Annie's. T-Bone tried to warn us. Now, in my nauseous stupor, I still hit 2 more malls that day. Because A, I was already out there, and B, I promised to be present for a meetup at the 3rd mall. So, the show must go on, even if it means I dance with the Grim Reaper. The important thing is that I lived and I made it back, so relax. As we near the end of the video, I do hope that you enjoyed this tour of the Lakeforest Mall. If you did, or even if you didn't, do share your comments about the place. Up next will be the North Hanover Mall in Pennsylvania, so do stick around for that, and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want the notifications for the next upload, then don't forget to ring the bell icon next to the subscribe button. If you want to continue discussions about Lakeforest Mall, then don't forget about the Dead Mall's Discord, where you can chat with me, Sal, and many other creators. The server is always growing, and we would be happy to have you join if you haven't already. Just answer a couple questions with the mods, and you'll be good to go. So long, JCPenney. Well, until next time, everybody. This is Doomie Grunt, wishing you and the Lakeforest Mall farewell and good luck.